Alright, so I'm going to go through a tutorial on how to create a weekly check-in form and that you can use to give feedback to your students and they can give feedback to you. The first thing you're going to want to do is be on your Google Drive and you're going to click New and you're going to click More and then Google Forms. So the first thing we have to create is a new form. So it's going to load a new form. It's going to give us the opportunity to name it. And I like to call this my weekly check-in. Alright, so the initial thing you need to know about setting up a form is you want to know, like for instance, you want someone to be required to belong to the district to view this form. You also want to automatically collect the respondent's username, which means you'll collect their email, and that's really important if you want to be able to automatically email them back. The rest of these I wouldn't worry about right now. So you can go down here and you can just basically make a question. So and say, what is going well for you? Going well for you this week. And on the question type, I'm going to change it to paragraph text so they can write in whatever they want. I like to make all of my questions, well, I like to make the first two questions required and the last one they can choose to or not. So this is required, meaning they can't submit the form without having done it. And then I'm going to go on, I'm going to click Add Item, and then I'm going to say, what are your challenges this week? And same thing, I'm going to change this to paragraph text. And I'm also going to require this response. So I'm going to hit Done. And my final question is going to be, is there anything else you want me to know? And I'll select paragraph text again. This time I'm not going to require it because they may or may not. So once I've created, oh, and one other thing that I actually like to add on to this weekly check-in is a name, a box for a name, because then I can customize the email. So I'm going to add just your first name. And again, this is going to be, instead of paragraph text, it'll just be text. It's just a smaller box, and that's also going to be required. So I'm going to hit Done. Now, one of the nice things about the Google form is if you decide, like, I want this question at the beginning, I can just click on it and drag it up to the top. Just like that. So I've just changed the order, so this is the order the students will see it in. So once I've done this, and I want you to notice at the bottom, you can do some, we have some options here. You can show link to submit another response. You can, you don't want to publish and show a public link in this case. I like to allow responders to edit responses after submitting, just in case students like, oh, I forgot to mention this or whatever. And you can write a custom message here in terms of what they'll see when they finish and submit the form. Okay, so now what I'm going to do is send the form. When I click Send the Form, I can do a couple things. I can grab a link here, so I can do this short URL. I can copy and paste this, and I could put this like as a link on my website, for instance. Another way to do it is to invite your students by, through their email. So right now, just for demonstration purposes, I'm going to send it to myself so that you can see what this looks like. So it found me right away. I have the option to include the form in the email or not. I'm going to uncheck that, I think. I like it better when they have to go through to the website, because they have to go through to the website anyway. And I can change the subject, so weekly check-in, and then I can customize this. So I can say for March 20th. So, and then to be completed in class as a message to my students. Okay? So then I'm going to hit Send. And I'll have to go check my email, and I will be right back. So just so you can see what it looks like when I send this email, here's my email. I can click Weekly Check-in for March 20th. This is what the students will see. And it says to be completed in class, and I'm asked to fill out a form. They can click on the link. and it will take them to the live form. So this is what it looks like when they're working on it. It looks different when you're developing it, but then when they see it, they do this. So I'm going to put in my information. I'm just going to do a quick fill out here. So just give me a moment. Okay, so as you can see here, I've completed just a little bit as if I was a student. And then I'm going to click Submit. So this is the form, the sort of the response they'll see if they want to go back and edit something because they forgot to add something. They could go back in and edit, and you could say working on a lot. So, and then I can hit Submit again. So now I'm going to take you to where you can view their responses. So what you'll notice is now I've gone back to the form view where we can like look at the form that we created, and you'll notice up here now it says responses and it says 1. So this shows me that there are responses to my my form. So what I'm going to do is go to View Responses. And Google automatically creates a Google Sheet whenever you have created a form, and it puts all the data. So as you can see here, it collects the timestamp. So it shows me what date and time the student has completed this, and then you'll see the questions that you have here. What is going well for you this week? The username, that's their email. What are your challenges? Is there anything else you want me to know? And then their first name. These are a little bit out of order, but it doesn't really matter. So what I want to do over here to set up the spreadsheet completely is I'm going to create a new header called feedback. And I'm going to make this so that I know that's where I put my, as the teacher, that's where I write my stuff. So I'm sorry, I'm wanting to highlight this and I'm doing that incorrectly. There we go. All right, so there's my feedback. Now, one of the things that's difficult about reading text in a form in a spreadsheet like this is that it kind of, the line goes on, it gets cut off. So let me show you how you can fix that really easily. If you go up to this corner button, it's right above the 1 and to the left of the A, it'll highlight the whole spreadsheet. And then I can go to my text wrap button here, and I can click on this, and you'll notice that there's an overflow button, which is what we have right now. We have a wrap button, and that's what we want. We want to wrap the text, and what that does is as soon as it hits the end of the cell, it goes to the next line. So watch what happens to the text. So now I can read each of the things clearly. So as a teacher, I can now go in and read each of my students' responses. Imagine you probably have 20, 30, depending on how many students you have. I have a lot more in the middle school. But at any rate, you'll have a list of these, and you can go through them. What I really like about this format is now I can just like scan across this organizational thing. I can see, oh, okay, it's going well. I like the project we're working on a lot. What is challenging to them right now? I'm having trouble remembering all the shortcut keys, which is frustrating. And then, is there anything else you want me to know? One of the people at my table is bugging me. Can we change seats? So this is a perfect opportunity for me as the teacher to come in and address these concerns that may have not come forward before from the student. Maybe this is a student who's soft-spoken. So I might say something like, I'm glad that you like the project we are working on. I find it easier to remember shortcut keys by creating a list on paper and keeping that handy so I can refer to it as needed. And then In terms of the person bugging them at the table, I would say if you have a concern about a table mate, let's talk in class. So that's my feedback to the student. That took me a good minute or so maybe to fill that out, but now I have written custom feedback for the student. So the next step is going to be getting this feedback to the student, and we want to kind of automate that process. So what I'd like to do, because this video is getting kind of long, is I would like to stop here so you have a sense of this first part, the first step, and the next step is going to be using an add-on called Mule to automate sending back an email with your feedback. So I'll see you in the next video.